He joins us now by phone to elaborate on what's happening there. Lieutenant Cowan, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
So what are people going to find when they return to New Orleans?
Unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be a lot of water. Most of New Orleans is flooded under several feet of water. A lot of trees knocked down, a lot of power lines. It's pretty messy.
So when you say water, was this salt water, fresh water? What's in the water?
It's a combination. There was a lot of heavy rains. There was some breaching of the levee system that pushed the water into St. Bernard Parish and into New Orleans proper itself, flooding neighborhoods. Streets are completely flooded.
So I take it it's not clean. So what sort of medical problems might that kind of water give rise to? What are you worried about?
Well, there's always the possibility for any type of stagnant water to set, but what we're planning is the pumps in New Orleans hopefully will be able to pump out the water relatively quickly. Crews are working nonstop to make sure that these pumps are operational and pumping out as much water as they can. Efforts are being made to repair any damages to the levee system so that more water will not be seeping back in, so it's easier to pump the water out and not have to worry about the backfill.
Well, I know there was a real fear last night that the levees wouldn't hold during the storm and would collapse. How did they fare?
Actually, they fared pretty well. There were some breaches where water was pushed over the top. I'm sure that there were areas that the levee did fail. We haven't gotten complete reports. We're still getting reports from the various parishes, trying to find out the damage that they have been able to assess on the ground. Once they get that information, they then in turn let us know so that we can coordinate getting the resources from the various state and federal agencies to help fix the problem.
People must be really anxious to return to their homes in New Orleans and Jefferson Parish. How long is it going to be before they can come back, do you think?
We're still waiting on the damage assessments. Unfortunately, the evacuees that did leave are not able to return yet because we want to make sure that it's safe for them to come back in. Sure, there are people that did stay in New Orleans, which we really couldn't control, and they're going about their business. Unfortunately, they're in a dangerous situation because there are power lines that are down, some of them still in the water, could cause electrocution. So we're trying to stress the importance for people to be very, very wary outside, in the water, splashing around, driving through the water, because it is still very dangerous. We want to make sure that it is safe for those evacuees to return to a safe situation so that we can start the disaster recovery process.
All right. Lieutenant Kevin Cowan, of Louisiana Office of Emergency Preparedness, thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, before Katrina arrived on Monday morning, students arrived at Tulane University in New Orleans for the fall semester. Not everyone wanted to start the school year riding out a Category 4 hurricane. That would include Kyle Kogan, a freshman from Chicago. He got out of New Orleans in style and just in time Sunday night. Joining me now from his home, Kyle and his mom, Karen. Thanks a lot for joining us. So how did you get out?
You go.
Well, we first tried to, we had planes, obviously, but they were all canceled because of the wind. Then we tried to rent a car, but all the cars were rented out. And then we went to bed. We were going to weather it out. But my mom stayed away because she was so scared. She couldn't handle it. So she woke my dad up at 4:30, and he went down to the concierge desk and called around and found a limo who would take us all the way up to Chicago.
So what was your pitch to the limo driver, Karen? Just, can you take me to Chicago? And what did he say?
Marty just called around and found a limousine service that had an available car and asked one of the drivers if he'd be willing to leave and take us to Chicago, and he certainly was willing to get out of there too. And we were very excited because we were very scared, and there was another couple standing behind Marty in the hotel, and Marty overheard them asking for a car too, and they couldn't get one. We got the last one, it sounds like. And so Marty said, you know, why don't you come with us? Even though they were from South Dakota, they came to Chicago and flew out of Chicago after we got here and went home to South Dakota.
So what was the drive like?
The drive, when we first left New Orleans, was very, very slow. It took us about 6 or 7 hours to go about 120 miles. It was just bumper to bumper, but everybody was peaceful and just going along, and it's not like we were smiling and waving at each other because we were all nervous, but nobody was honking and there was no road rage. Everyone just tried to keep it together to get out of there.
We all calmed down as soon...
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, we all calmed down as soon as we were out of the 7-hour traffic jam out of New Orleans. We all calmed down and we started talking, making jokes.
I can imagine. It sounds like a good time. Better, certainly, than the option, which apparently was to get on a 2-lane bus and drive to Jackson, Mississippi to spend an unknown period of time in a shelter there. Did you consider that?
Well, initially, funny, I met a lot of people, girls especially, that said they were going, so I'm like, okay, I want to go with, it'd be fun. And I didn't think, first of all, I was a Category 3 at the time, so I didn't think, I thought it'd be actually fun. But now that my mom, persistently said, you're not going. So I went home with her, and I'm happy now that I went home with her because it would have been awful sitting in that gym for days.
So when are you going back to Tulane?
They said the earliest is the 7th of September, but I'm guessing it could be a month.
No.
No, it could be a month with the waters, flood waters.
Well, I hope not.
I hope not.
You're going to have to take a limo back.
No, we're going to fly back. I'm going to fly back.
I think that's a good choice.
Never want to do that limo ride.
Kyle and Karen Kogan, thanks a lot for joining us. I'm glad you're safe and sound in Chicago.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks. We should note that Harrison County, Mississippi is confirming only 4 deaths. The AP is continuing to report 50 have died there on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Still ahead, there's only a sliver of coastline in Alabama, but hell blew through it Monday morning. The pictures, the latest, and the prognosis from Mobile, Alabama when we return.
Why go so far as to equip a sedan with a smoother riding double wishbone front suspension, 235 horsepower V6, and electronic stability control? Because instead of cutting corners, we'd rather take them. The all-new, highly agile 2006 Sonata, a Hyundai like you've never seen before.
Are you a homeowner with a credit problem or a low FICO score? Would you like to consolidate bills and lower your monthly payments? Then call or log on to ditech.com. We can help you to get a new low fixed-rate mortgage that will pay off your current debts and lower your monthly payments by hundreds of dollars. There are no broker or middleman fees because you're dealing direct. If approved, you can get the credit and cash you need right now. Log on to ditech.com or call 1-800-80-DITECH.
We use a lot of paper around here.
We print it,
Then copy it
we file it,
and transfer it. We lose it,
found it, we process it, and turn it into more paper.
and we wonder why our information flow doesn't actually flow.
One company can uncomplicate your paper flow. Lexmark. We've designed smarter ways for the world's biggest businesses to print, move, and manage information. Go to Lexmark.com and see how we can help yours uncomplicate.
Hi. I know this may be a bit awkward, but let me just start by saying that George had a very full life.
Very full.
He tried to provide the very best for you. He was very active in the market, as you can see, and apparently still is.
George, is that you?
You can't always be online, but with Trade Triggers, you don't need to be. It automatically enters your trades when the market hits conditions you specify. Trade Triggers, just one of the many tools on Ameritrade, where every internet equity trade is just $10.99. Join now and you can enjoy up to 35 commission-free internet equity trades, plus $100 cash back.
George.
Oh, sorry. That was me.
For more details on this limited time offer, call 800-728-8593 or go to Ameritrade.com/trade now.
Honeymoon cruise mystery. Joe wants this case solved. Now, he takes you into the virtual world to find more clues on Scarborough Country. MSNBC tomorrow at 10.
So we've been beginning to get on the taps of the windows, the debris from the trees that are beginning to shred. You see, I just lost my hat.
If I were to step about another 50 feet that way,
it would be even stronger. And it's also picking up, as you can see. Flying debris. We've got a piece right back here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to roll around the parking lot there. And I mean, that's the stuff we're concerned about here with, but, you know, we're watching it. Here now we're dealing with the wind and very light rain. And as you can see, the wind is still substantial.
The enduring images of major weather events are inevitably the people sent to cover them, braving the elements to bring us their stories. John Donnelly is the editor of NOLA.com and MardiGras.com, the major online affiliates of the New Orleans Times-Picayune. He wrote out Katrina Sunday night and Monday, and he joins us now. Mr. Donnelly, thanks a lot.
Hey, Tucker.
So how was it? Are you glad you stayed?
Oh, well, it was my job. I wouldn't have missed it.
Was it as dramatic as you thought it would be?
It was a little scarier than I thought it would be. I've actually flown into a hurricane before on a hurricane hunter flight, but that was a nice, safe C-130.
This was scarier than flying into a hurricane on a propeller plane.
Yes.
So set the scene for us. Where were you when it hit?
We're in what we are calling a hurricane bunker. We created it after Hurricane George to allow us in the Times-Picayune to keep publishing something in a major weather event. We're in the interior behind 3 levels of walls of the 3rd floor of the Times-Picayune building, which is on the edge of downtown New Orleans, just a little north of the Superdome. And the outer wall windows are bulletproof glass, and then we have executive offices and then the newsroom, and we're back another level in what's normally the photo lab. And this is the only area that now has electricity. We've been, general electricity's been off since about 6 this morning. So
now, have you been down? I think most of our viewers, if they're familiar with New Orleans, will be familiar with the French Quarter. Have you been down there?
No, we have not been able to get out at all today until just about sunset. We were still having pretty high winds, and we're far enough away from the downtown area that it's dangerous to get out unless you're in a very big vehicle. So we're planning to go down there tomorrow to see what kind of mess we got.
Is it dangerous because there's so much water in the streets, or because of down power lines?
At the time before it started getting dark, we were still getting tropical storm gusts, and we're now surrounded by water here at the Times-Picayune building. All the roads are not real deep, but headlight 4 feet deep, that range. So we're kind of isolated out here.
Now, there were some reports this afternoon, and I have no idea if they're accurate. Maybe you can tell me that there was some looting in New Orleans today. Have you heard that?
Yes, there definitely was some looting in New Orleans. We had a couple of our photo and reporting teams out making short forays in the nearby neighborhood, and they had friendly chats with the people filing out of the stores with their bags of goods.
Are there no police around? There are no National Guardsmen? No one to stop it?
All of the emergency crews that are out at the moment, there's no law enforcement that I know of, and I'm sitting under a police scanner. I'm not hearing any law enforcement type calls. It's all trying to get the people off the roofs in East New Orleans and the 9th Ward and Tremay before they drown. Most of the efforts being made to try and save people's lives.
Yeah, I imagine it's law enforcement triage at the moment. John Donnelly, editor of NOLA.com, affiliated with the Times-Picayune. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you much.
Coming up, it was a hurricane problem until just hours ago, but Katrina has left a different kind of problem now. The man in charge of fixing it joins us next with a forecast.
Hurricane Katrina. MSNBC has the latest information, live reports from the scene, and up-to-the-minute tracking from the MSNBC Weather Center.
We have loads of puppies just looking for a home. We've got a steak with your name on it.
Come on down to Bill's Kayak Shop for the adventure.
If you can afford radio advertising, you can afford cable TV. Comcast Spotlight can make it happen. And with Comcast Spotlight, you can target the customers you want to reach. So why settle for
Manja
when you can have?
Put your business on the fast track. Call Comcast Spotlight to find out more about advertising on cable.
Who built these wind turbines and the hundreds more that have followed? The way I see it, it's the thousands of PGE customers who've signed up for renewable energy options. It's your demand that's creating supply and working toward a cleaner, healthier Oregon. So thanks, and keep it up, because this isn't really about wind power. It's a story about the power of choice.
Renewable power options. Enroll at portlandgeneral.com.
Users work in coffee shops, which aren't always the best places to work. Wouldn't it be great to work wherever you wanted instead of only in hotspots? Now you can with Verizon Wireless Broadband Access. Wi-Fi only works in limited locations, while Broadband Access is the nation's largest, fastest, wide-area wireless broadband network and is expanding coast to coast. Now get unlimited access at a great price, so you won't get stuck in a not-so-hot spot. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Fred, I want upgrades. More speed, better security, and I want options by Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Rudy, why me?
Look, maybe I can get you some more time.
No, Tuesday's fine. I'll call CDW. We'll work out some options. Rudy.
Nobody responds like CDW. With fast answers to your technology questions, you get what you need when you need it. CDW, the right technology, right away.
Thanks for caring, man.
No doubt. Let's see what you can do for this poor seasonal allergy sufferer.
You're really miserable.
I've tried these. They only last about 6 hours. And all of these make me drowsy.
I think this will help.
Allegra 180, long-lasting and non-drowsy.
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness. But Allegra 180 can.
Allegra lasts a whole day and night.
For people 12 and over, side effects alone may include headache, cold, or backache.
I'll take Allegra any day.
Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
Katrina is a pretty devastating hurricane. I've been through many of these since 1969. I've been on the Gulf of Mexico riding them out, and each one has its own little thing it does. Here, people didn't take it seriously.
Welcome back. We know a lot about weather, but not everything apparently. We didn't get it exactly right. Brigadier General David Johnson is the director of the National Weather Service. The Weather Service has inherited Katrina from the National Hurricane Center. General Johnson joins us live from Washington, D.C. General, what did we get wrong in forecasting this hurricane?
Well, we did a pretty good job overall. The team used the Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunters, satellite pictures, as well as forecasting tools. And about 48 hours out, we projected a landfall point that only ended up being about 30 miles off. And we had the speed pretty accurate at that point in time. I think there's an opportunity to do a little bit more research to increase our knowledge of intensity, but I think the whole team did a good job.
Do you think that, I know that there was, at least in the press, the expectation that the effects of it were going to be biblical in one of the words that was floating around yesterday. Do you think we overestimated its capacity to destroy, or it was just good luck at the end that it didn't?
Well, I think the cone of uncertainty is something that you guys in the media did a real good job explaining to the American public this time. I think that beginning on Friday afternoon, we had New Orleans included in the cone of uncertainty, and had the track been just a couple of miles further west, that northeast quadrant of the storm surge would have exacerbated the issue for metropolitan New Orleans area, and you'd be doing a much different story than you are tonight.
Yes, thank God we're not. There's been a lot of talk comparing this hurricane to previous hurricanes. Can you put this into some perspective for us? How big was this relative to hurricanes over the past 50 years?
Well, a lot of people are talking about Betsy and Camille. I think with the significant increase in the population in the coastal counties in and around America, we'll see some pretty significant damage numbers once it comes out. I'm just thankful that the timely and accurate warning was out, and that regional emergency managers had an opportunity to make good decisions and pass that on to the people. I think that the magnitude of the storm indicates that there's going to be some substantial losses overall. I'm just happy that a lot of people were able to get out.
So is this some demographic changes? That's something you all worry about? More people live on the coast, I think, than have lived on the coast at any time in American history. Does that mean that every storm is potentially more deadly?
Potentially, you bet. And our sister organization in Bureau of Census is also part of the Department of Commerce, along with NOAA and the Weather Service. And they tell us that 53% of America now lives in coastal communities, and that trend continues, and that trend is worrisome to people who are charged with protecting lives and property. So, yes, that's something that we pay attention to.
Bet it is. General David Johnson, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Well, Katrina has covered a lot of ground since making landfall early this morning. NBC's Martin Savage helped us retrace the steps of this historic storm.
Just before dawn, Katrina heads northwest, straight for the coast, down a hair from its 175-mile-per-hour peak. But still a ferocious Category 4, and New Orleans buckles in for a bumpy ride. The storm makes landfall at 6:10 local time.
Hurricane Katrina, 140-mile-per-hour winds, a strong Category 4 storm, made landfall early on Monday. Southern portions of Louisiana, the worst damage throughout coastal locations of Mississippi all the way to Mobile.
But what is hardship for Mississippi and Alabama, where severe flooding is making rivers out of roads? Spares New Orleans from disaster.
The storm surge has been much bigger than anything ever before. The result has been, in some cases, people being trapped.
By 10 a.m. Central Time, Katrina is weaker, a Category 3 storm now, but still plenty bad news for people here in New Orleans.
That was incredible. The noise is what's scary.
You don't have to go far to find scenes that look like they're right out of a disaster movie. This is just off of Canal Street.
Biloxi, Mississippi now, and winds are howling. There's flying debris everywhere, and high tide in the middle of the city.
Right now, the strongest part of Katrina barreling through Biloxi, Mississippi, as the eye of the storm is completely over us right now with winds gusting an excess of 90 miles per hour, possibly over 100 at times.
Our Gulf Coast is getting hit and hit hard. In the meantime, American will pray. Pray for the health and safety of all our citizens.
Noon Central. Katrina is now a Category 2 storm, but winds are still gusting to 105 miles per hour. Sadly, it's not enough to stop looters in New Orleans. In New Orleans, a city mostly below sea level, residents emerging to assess the damage find the water is rushing in.
I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't stay home. The ceiling upstairs, water through the window.
And folks rush to help. Katrina may have moved on, but she's still causing trouble to hundreds of thousands of people in New Orleans who are either homeless or without power tonight.
Coming up, the scariest description you've ever heard of what's in all that water currently flooding New Orleans. Put it this way, alligators and snakes are not the creepy part. Stay tuned.
Give your high-mileage engine what it wants. Switch to high-mileage vehicle motor oil from Pennzoil. It's for engines with over 75,000 miles.
Notice the delicious bowl of Quaker oatmeal. Presto changeo, oatmeal squareo. Quaker breakfast squares. It's oatmeal to go.
My new grandson should always feel safe in my hands, arthritis, pain, or not. That's why I trust Advil. Even after 20 years, nothing has been proven more effective on tough pain. Not Tylenol, not Aleve.
Advil. Fast, strong, trusted.
I'd like to be your lender.
I want to be your lender.
I want to compete for your loan.
At Lending Tree, banks compete for your business.
Now that is a low rate.
I want to compete for your loan. Refinance now, and they'll compete to bring you the Lending Tree Flex Loan. $175,000 for about $675 a month. Whether you're buying a home or refinancing, lower monthly payments could save you thousands. One simple form gets you up to 4 customized offers. Look who's won. You. Compare offers, choose one instantly. Yes. It's that easy. $175,000 for about $675 a month. It's a limited time offer. Refinance now. I'm taking you down. Lower rate. No cost, no obligation. Call 1-800-831-4964 today. When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com.
Still to come, now that Hurricane Katrina has stomped her way through the Gulf of Mexico, is she about to become the most expensive storm in U.S. history? A leading oil analyst joins me next when the situation returns.
More and more people are switching to the trucks and SUVs they really want. GMC.
Going from the Dodge to the Sierra, I love this ride.
I shopped for 6 months. The Yukon had everything I wanted.
I was so glad I moved up from my Ford into this new GMC.
You can still get the employee discount for everyone on remaining 2005 models. Right now, get an 05 Yukon two-wheel drive SLE for just $28,687. See the pros at your local GMC dealers.
You go first.
You go.
Nope. You first.
No. After you.
Well, actually, I insist.
Don't be afraid. This Listerine is less intense.
Ladies first.
Age before beauty.
You want to fight plaque, gingivitis, and bad breath. So get over your fears.
Let's see what you're made of.
Excuse me. Just try Natural Citrus Listerine. All of Listerine's germ-killing power. But less intense.
You guys should really grow up.
Natural Citrus Listerine. You can handle it. Germs can't.
It came in on Mississippi like a ton of bricks. It's a terrible storm. Whether it'll turn out to be worse than Camille, Lord, I hope not.
What is your worst fear, Governor?
That there are a lot of dead people down there.
That was Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour in an emotional moment this afternoon. Biloxi, Mississippi, probably the town hardest hit by Katrina. NBC News' David Schuster is in Biloxi. He's been there since this began. We talked to him last night. He joins us now. David, I'm glad you're okay, first off. Second, what's the latest? We're hearing conflicting reports on people dead. AP reporting 50 in Harrison County. There are conflicting reports saying as few as 4. Do you know anything about this?
Well, apparently NBC's contacted this official, and he's denying that he said that. But nobody is expecting that the number that we reported earlier, 4 dead, will actually stay. Everyone thinks that the number is going to go up simply because, Tucker, there's so many parts of southern Mississippi where officials have no information. The roads are blocked because of power lines or debris blocking the roads. Other roads, for example, going into Biloxi are underwater. No cell phones, no power. So as a result, simply no information on a lot of people. And given that, for example, the mayor of Biloxi told us last night that he expected perhaps as many as 5,000 to 10,000 people in the greater Biloxi area who should be evacuated were instead going to stay, there may be hundreds or perhaps even thousands of people who had some problems over the last day that officials simply don't know about. So we do expect that the death toll will rise dramatically tomorrow, although everyone's hoping that perhaps, in fact, everyone survived.
Have you had a chance to go out and about in Biloxi today?
We couldn't get there, Tucker. We tried. About 5 hours after the Hurricane I went through here, we managed to sort of go on Highway 110, which leads south to Biloxi. We got about 2 miles, and there's a town called the Iberville, which is between here and sort of Biloxi proper. It's a town of about 6,000 people, and it was completely underwater. The auto shops, the restaurants, the gas stations, the local high school, totally demolished and unusable. And then when we tried to get a little bit closer to Biloxi, there were power lines that were blocking the road, and we couldn't get any further. And apparently that was the same problem that some of the emergency management people had. They apparently couldn't get into parts of Biloxi until very late today. So we really don't know exactly what the damage was or what we're going to find tomorrow. We're hoping that by tomorrow some of the emergency crews will have cleared the roadways because they want to try to start getting some emergency supplies in there for the people who may need it. And remember, there's no power, there's no water, no electricity, nothing. So the people who are there are really in some dire straits.
It sounds like a war zone. There's been so much focus over the last 24 hours on New Orleans and Louisiana more generally, and then so much relief that that city was spared the brunt of this hurricane. I think people tend to lose sight of the fact that Mississippi is really the place that bore the real strength of this storm. Tell us about your experience last night. We had talked at about midnight, right before, a couple hours before the storm started. You were bracing for. What did it end up being like?
Tucker, is really strange. I mean, everything that I'd heard about hurricanes is that it comes in and then within a couple hours it's gone, and, you know, in the midst of it, when the eye comes over, the sun comes out and it's really quiet. This was nothing like that at all. I mean, the rain gradually, hour by hour, after we were on the air with you last night, picked up from 20 miles per hour, 30, 40, 50, and by dawn this morning, we were getting gusts of 70 or 80 miles per hour. And then when the eye came through, there was no quiet at all. And in fact, there were some gusts of over 100 miles per hour that were registering at our hotel. And remember, we were sort of blocked by the hotel as far as where our camera position was. And the wind's much stronger closer to the coast. And this went on literally for like 8 hours today. I think it was maybe only about 6 hours after the storm had sort of passed through when it finally started to calm down. But even a few hours ago when we were doing some reports tonight, there were gusts of 40, 50 miles an hour that would kick up. So that, I think, just underscored the enormity. The other thing, Tucker, is when the winds were really kicking up 100 miles per hour, I mean, it was just chaos as far as you couldn't see very much. The stop signs were bent over. Some of the signs we were talking about last night, advertising the restaurants, they were peeling apart. You saw sort of the edges of the roof decks were coming off, and there was metal debris that was flying through the air, and that's the stuff, you know, obviously you worry about, because if that hits your hotel or your building or I suppose your house, then you're in some trouble.
Yeah,
and
I guess.
It was, you know, frankly, it was pretty scary.
Now, how did the people you were with at the hotel, who aren't with NBC News, who were just happened to be stuck in this hotel for the night, how were they responding to all this?
Well, they were pretty sad, in part because they were hearing some of the same reports and getting some anecdotal information that what they had left behind was underwater. But beyond that, it wasn't such a great situation at the hotel, given that, you know, for a lot of people, I mean, when the power goes out, the lights go out, the electricity, the air conditioner goes out, and then on top of that, a lot of people had brought their pets, their dogs and their cats, and, you know, I'm a pet lover, but when you have dogs who are just as scared as human beings, they tend to do things to the inside of a hotel that make it smell, and there's nobody around to clean it up, and, you know, the toilets don't work, and there's no water, and so for the people who at least have some shelter, I think they were grateful that, you know, the roof didn't blow off on the hotel, but you really got a sense that, you know, if it was sort of bad for these people in the hotel, and they're having to deal with these sort of conditions of not having the sort of creature comforts, everyone said, you know, you can imagine how much worse it is for the people who decided to stay in their homes closer to the water, who not only lost all of that as well, but also had their roofs peel off and had all the windows smashed because of the debris and everything flying through the air. So I think people were uncomfortable today, and I think they're going to be uncomfortable for a while, given that people are talking about there not being power here for at least maybe even a couple of weeks. But I think at least the people at our hotel were fairly grateful that nobody was hurt.
Just sounds like a completely different country. David Schuster, we're glad you're not hurt. Thanks.
Thanks, Tucker.
Talk to you later. Coming up, we're going to have amazing video from New Orleans. The Hyatt Hotel there it is right there. That's the Hyatt Hotel in New Orleans. If you've been in New Orleans, you know that hotel. Looks like an entire side of it is missing the glass. You see the curtains blowing in the wind there. We earlier had pictures up of some of those curtains on Canal Street hanging off the gas lamps like streamers. Look at that. The whole side of it. Apparently, almost every hotel and almost every high-rise hotel in New Orleans was full to capacity in many cases. I think the Hyatt was among them. There were people in that hotel when that happened. All that glass went somewhere. Not clear where it went. Down, of course. Not sure at this point if anyone was hurt by it. We'll be right back.
I should have done this a long time ago.
Ready? Pull! Pull!
No more credit card debt.
Want to get rid of your credit card debt, increase your cash flow, and lower your monthly payments? Get a $49 flat fee second mortgage from Ditech.com.
Now it's my turn.
They lost another loan to Ditech.
Log on or call 1-800-71-FIXED.
More and more people are switching to the trucks and SUVs they really want. GMC.
Going from the Dodge to the Sierra, I love this ride.
I shopped for 6 months. The Yukon had everything I wanted.
I'm so glad I moved up from my Ford into this new GMC.
You can still get the employee discount for everyone on remaining 2005 models. Right now, get an 05 Yukon two-wheel drive SLE for just $28,687. See the pros at your local GMC dealers.
The 30th Annual Home Improvement and Remodeling Show is your one-stop resource for great ideas and inspirations for your next home project. Get expert advice from the best companies in the industry. Stop by the Comcast booth on Saturday, September 24th from 1 to 3 p.m. to meet Gard Swanson, host of HGTV's Generation Renovation, the Home Improvement and Remodeling Show, where 350 great companies come together for 4 days. September 22nd through the 25th at the Oregon Convention Center.
Something really fits, you can feel it. Like the fit you get with C-Bond denture adhesive. It's the only wafer that has a gasket effect that locks dentures in place, gives you all-over coverage, all-over hold. No mess, no ooze.
When your dentures really fit, you can feel it.
The adhesive wafer with the gasket fit, C-Bond. And give toothpaste and tablets the brush off. C-Bond Brightening Gel Cleanser does the job of both.
See for yourself why TV Guide says Countdown is one of the best bets for summer.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Countdown with Keith Olbermann, next on MSNBC. MSNBC tomorrow. Survivors of Katrina tell their incredible stories to Rita Cosby. Then, Rita is live in Aruba, digging deep, finding real answers in the search for Natalie Holloway. Rita Cosby live and direct. MSNBC tomorrow at 9.
Watching video we've just received of a Coast Guard rescue. We believe it's in Louisiana. You can see people on their roofs, water all the way up to the roof line. People clamoring out to be rescued by the Coast Guard. They've apparently chopped through the roofs from the inside. You can see that brown stuff is water right there. That's amazing. I believe this was shot today at some point. Part of a huge trove of videotape MSNBC has just obtained. We'll be showing it throughout the night and into tomorrow. Haven't even had time to see most of it, but we're going to bring it to you as soon as we do. Look at that. Well, Denton Cincagrana is an analyst with the Oil Price Information Service and an expert on petroleum and the markets. Denton, thanks all for joining us.
My pleasure.
Oil prices spike on news of Katrina. Why and what's going to happen?
Well, the market is filled with panic to begin with based on what's happening in the Middle East, storms that happen to go through the Gulf Coast and through the Gulf of Mexico where most of the oil production in the U.S. is. And when that happens, everyone tends to buy and no one wants to sell.
So I read that there are something like, let's say, 8, I think this is right, 8 refineries closed down. And something like 20% of American gasoline comes from those 8 refineries. I think, is this in the ballpark?
Yeah, definitely is.
So why is such a small number of refineries responsible in a fairly small geographic area responsible for such a huge percentage of American gasoline production? It seems like a lot of eggs in one basket.
It is, and there's the largest concentration of refineries in the U.S. is along that Gulf Coast, and that's partially because the oil production is in the Gulf of Mexico, so it has a shorter distance to travel. From there, from all those refineries, it's distributed through up to the East Coast, up into the Midwest. So there's a lot of
by pipeline.
By pipeline, correct.
So are those pipelines affected?
They'll be affected. A couple of them have shut down. One of the worst things that could happen is having water get mixed in with the pipeline and contaminate the product, and it's completely useless at that point.
It has to be literally thrown away at that point?
Yeah, it's discarded. It's not good anymore, especially when it gets contaminated with water.
So I guess the micro question is, how long will this stoppage go on? The macro question is, when are we going to build more refineries?
Both good questions. In the short term, we're still going to have to wait and see what kind of impact we've had on the refineries based on the shutdown. It'll probably take another day or two, but if there was any sort of flooding, it could be very ugly. As far as building new refineries, that's a tougher question. There hasn't been a new refinery built in this country from the ground up in at least 25 years.
It sounds like we need them.
We could definitely use them. There's just the permitting process and getting permits from the EPA, state, local, and federal entities, and just the community backlashes that might come with trying to build a refinery.
So news tonight has the president considering strongly, possibly even deciding to dip into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Mm-hmm. Is that definitely going to happen, do you know, and is it a good idea, do you think?
I don't know if it's going to happen. Psychologically for the market, it would be a help, but really there's enough crude oil around. It's just that there's not enough refineries to turn it into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel.
What's going to happen to gas prices in the short term?
Short term, we're definitely going to see potentially 10 to 20, maybe even 30 cents of price rise over the next 30 days or so.
Per gallon?
Per gallon, yeah. This
you can see a 30-cent price rise per gallon.
Based on what's been happening in the market, and the supply situation has been very tight in places like the Southeast, in the Midwest. So this hurricane really has exacerbated that.
That's huge. I mean, that affects everything from the price of your airline ticket to the price of your tomatoes.
Absolutely.
All right. Denton Sitka-Granite, thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Well, from Biloxi to Jackson, Mississippi, for the brunt of Katrina, is Tennessee the next state in her sights? An update from the Weather Center when the situation returns.
It's the all-new midsize sedan with a luxurious full-size cabin, protected by 6 airbags, standard. More interior space than Camry or Accord. The all-new 2006 Sonata, a Hyundai like you've never seen before.
Lunesta. People everywhere are discovering it. What are you waiting for? Talk to your doctor to see if Lunesta could make a difference for you.
I was about 17. I started Fry Farms. I sold our first load of pumpkins to a local Walmart. One by one, my brothers came home from college to join me in the business. 10 years later, we're selling millions of cantaloupes, watermelons, and pumpkins that can be found in Walmart stores across the nation. The business that we do with Walmart affects our growers and suppliers in a positive way. As we grow with Walmart, so do these other companies. Walmart has helped build the foundation for a great business. It makes me feel great. I love it.
Believe this gets wrong like that. The nominees for the Major League Baseball Comeback Player of the Year Award, sponsored by Pfizer, are now online. Vote, and you may win a trip to throw out a ceremonial first pitch at the World Series.
Are oil companies thinking ahead?
Everything is set up to run on oil, but it's going to run out. And I really can't fathom that the brains that are running these multi-billion-dollar corporations are not thinking like, where are we going next, guys, you know?
You can't take a chance. You know, it's not just me and my wife. It's, you know, young ones too. They have no choice. So you got to make up your mind for everybody this time.
But one last check in Katrina's path with NBC Weather Plus meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill?
Well, Tucker, we're continuing to watch this huge storm system. The clouds from this storm now covering everywhere east of the Mississippi River. Luckily, though, the storm is considerably weaker. We got the new update in from the National Hurricane Center. Now it's at 60 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds, gusts to about 70. So for northern portions here, it looks like for Mississippi and Alabama, we're still going to have some minor power outages, maybe some of those old trees that are kind of rotted that should have come down anyways. They may come down in wind gusts like this. This storm is going to continue to weaken. The storm's moving very quickly, too, to the north-northeast at 22 miles per hour. And that's another good thing. We're not going to see a lot of flooding because of the rains from this system. It'll still be a tropical storm come tomorrow morning, just probably on the north side of Nashville, and then it should be about an area of low pressure over the top of Kentucky. But heavy rain on this path. It looks like Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, and then more or less just some rain as we go throughout the overnight hours up towards Cleveland, Columbus, and then Buffalo towards Wednesday. By Wednesday night, the storm should be completely gone. Forecast is going to be very hot this week. All sections here in the deep south. We've got all that moisture in place. It looks like the thunderstorm should stay out of the hardest hit areas, though, so it won't hamper the cleanup efforts as we go throughout Tuesday afternoon. And for that matter, we're not expecting a lot of wet weather throughout the next couple of days. So we'll continue to update you on this forecast. And for the latest on Hurricane Katrina and the aftermath of the hurricane, stay tuned here on MSNBC.
Bill Cairns, thanks. Well, we've got lots more ahead all through the night and into tomorrow. We're going to be telling you exactly what's happening in the aftermath of Katrina. But now I want to show you video we've just received. This is
easing the pain of business. When something really fits, you can feel it. Like the fit you get with C-Bond denture adhesive. It's the only wafer that has a gasket effect that locks dentures in place, gives you all-over coverage, all-over hold. No mess, no ooze.
When your dentures really fit, you can feel it.
The denture adhesive with the gasket fit. C-Bond. And give toothpaste and tablets the brush off. New C-Bond Brightening Gel Cleanser does the job of both.
David and Kathy just built a beautiful new home right at the water's edge.
I'll tell you the real story. I've been a professor at a local university since I was 28, and my husband's been at it longer than I have. You don't build a big nest egg on a couple of teacher salaries. You need a plan and a financial consultant who isn't afraid to roll up his sleeves.
Smith Barney, this is who we are. This is how we earn it.